What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Bit of Footy YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be running through mine and Ethan's full 2025 AFL season predictions. Ethan, how are you going, my friend?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. Ready to compare these lists.
Oh god, I'm interested to see how you go. Yeah, we've got a list of things to run through here that include the Brownlow, the Coleman, the Rising Star, the Wooden Spoon, who's going to finish ninth, who we think is going to be in the grand final, the premiers, and the runners-up. So that's the list that we're going through today. Whoa, pause. Just a quick update. This video will not include the runners-up prediction because you would already know who the runners-up would be via who we've selected to be the premiers, so there was no point of doing that. So yeah, just cut the runners-up out the video and let's continue on. Alright, to kick things off, we're just going to get straight into it because I don't want the video to run for like half a year. We are going to kick things off with who's going to win the 2025 Brownlow medal. I'll begin proceedings. Who I think is going to win the 2025 Brownlow medal. This could be considered biased and people may hate me for this, but it's only a matter of time before this happens, and I feel like if he gets a full season under his belt and doesn't have injuries, Nick Dacos should be winning this year's Brownlow medal. I think it's going to be a very tightly contested one. Maybe I don't know who else can win it. Maybe Cripps can go back to back, but I feel like it's Nick Dacos this year. If he can have a full fit, healthy year, play some sublime footy like he pretty much always does, it's his Brownlow to win this season. Yes, that may sound biased, but I just feel like, you know, is it really? He's just that good of a player. That's who I think is going to win this year's Brownlow. Ethan, over to you. Who do you think is going to win the 2025 Brownlow this year?
I literally put Nick Dacos as well. He's just too good, bro. He's just too
good. Any other reasons? He's just too good?
He's too good. He probably should have won it last year. I mean, whatever. It is what it is.
It is.
Yeah. But yeah, if he can get a full season in under his belt, I think he'll do good stuff. Yeah.
It should be a lot of fun to see how Nick Dacos goes this year, but we never know how the Brownlow is going to go, especially on the night of nights, Brownlow night. The voting, I don't know how the voting works. I don't know. I don't want to say it's like rigged or anything, but it can be controversial at times. But yeah, so me and Ethan have got Nick Dacos to win the 2025 Brownlow medal. All right, next up, me and Ethan are going to be picking our 2025 Coleman medalists. It could be a range of options this season. I mean, at the start, I was thinking Larky because, you know, North Melbourne are going to have a bit of a more open forward line this season, but it really depends how many entries North get into their forward 50 anyway this season. So I have changed my option from Nick Larky, but I'm not going to go first. I'll let Ethan go first this time. Who do you think is going to win the Coleman medal this year, Ethan?
I think it is going to be Charlie Curnow is going to win the Coleman medal this year. I think he's going to have a big year. You know, if he's going to go hard, and I think that's going to lead to a lot of the Blue success this season.
Yeah, that's a fair opinion. You know, Charlie Curnow's won multiple Coleman medalists, and if he can have a good season this year, yeah, he could be right up there. And if the Blues are going to contend this year, Charlie Curnow's going to have to fire on all cylinders. So not a bad choice there, Ethan. For my Coleman medalist, I sort of went a bit safe like Ethan. I've went Jesse Hogan to go back-to-back this season. He's not playing in opening round, round zero, whatever you want to call it, against my Pies. He is injured for that game. Knowing him, he probably would have kicked like 4 or 5 against us, so it's a little bit of a blessing in disguise, but I feel like for the rest of the season, assuming that he doesn't get injured or anything happens to him, like he gets suspended or anything, he'll have another good season. He was good in the preseason. He looked like his normal best. So assuming he has a good, fit and healthy season, bit like the Brownlow for Nick Dacos, I feel like Jesse Hogan will just fire and win the Coleman again. Bit of a boring answer, but you know, we've got two players who play for two pretty good clubs, so they've got a definite chance of winning it this year. All right, next up. Now, this is going to be a tough one because it's such an open topic, but next up on the list, we have got who we think is going to win the Rising Star for this year. There is a lot of selections that we could have made because there is that many selections to go through. I'll kick things off here. I think that the Rising Star winner this year, I really feel like it's between two options. That being Levi Ashcroft from the Lions and Sid Draper from the Crows. And I like them both, but I feel like I like Sid Draper a little bit more. He won a lot of the centre clearances for the Crows when they beat the Lions in the preseason game up in Queensland. Yeah, he was very good on that night. He looks like a very talented midfielder. I don't know what his goal sense is like. I don't really know too much about him, but from what I've seen from him early days, I feel like he is a real contender and could win the Rising Star this season. Ethan, who did you pick?
I picked Finn O'Sullivan, who was picked up by North, obviously second round pick. I think he's going to have a lot of opportunity in North to show what he can do, and I think he's going to have a big year, assuming he doesn't get like suspended or anything.
Yeah, true. It really comes down to the AFL season to if any of our picks like get injured or suspended or whatever, or have just like a shit season in general. But yeah, fair pick. You know, North Melbourne, they've got a few youngsters mixed in with some, mature players in there. And Finn O'Sullivan, from what I saw from his highlight reel, he looks like a decent player, and he could light it up for North Melbourne this year. And who knows, he could take North Melbourne to new heights. But we'll have to see how that goes for him and for the Kangas. All right. Next up, there's really... I don't want to sound like a dick or a bitchy or anything, but there's really no real reason to do this, but it's just happened in like every AFL predictions video I've seen. We're going to run through our wooden spooners, and I feel like we're going to have both the same answer because like I feel like there's only real one answer to have considering what their team is going to look like this season. A sprinkle, well, not even a sprinkle, a bucket load of draft picks, new players, a sprinkle of mature players in there. I think I know what Ethan's answer is going to be, but Ethan, take it away. Who is your wooden spooners for this year?
My wooden spooners are Richmond.
Yeah, okay.
Richmond going back-to-back spooners. Absolute classic.
And yeah, I've got the same result. I've got Richmond winning. Oh, well, winning is a rough term for a wooden spoon, but they got Richmond getting the wooden spoon again. I mean, I feel like everyone's got them in their list to win, to get the wooden spoon. It's going to be a tough year to be a Tiger supporter, I feel like. I mean, if you stick by them, fair play. Got to be loyal to your club, but I feel like the thing is for Richmond fans is that they know what's coming this season. It's going to be a long, well, maybe not a long rebuild for them, but it's going to be a rebuild for them nevertheless. They've got a bunch of draft picks who are just going to have to get minutes into their legs, who are just going to have to grow into the AFL sphere, Jesus Christ, and just get better week in, week out. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Richmond even win a game this year or not. Hopefully they do, because if they go winless, that may be like a record or something. But yeah, we'll have to see how Richmond's year pans out. They beat Sydney last year, which was a shock to everyone, considering Sydney made it to the grand final. So the fact that Richmond somehow beat them, I do not know. They ended up beating Adelaide as well. So they can pick up some weird, strange wins here and there. But with the team that they've got this season, I just don't know. I just don't know. All right, next up, we've got who we both think are going to finish ninth. This is actually an interesting one because I actually have no idea where Ethan is going to go with this one. Now, obviously, I've done my ladder predictions for this season, so I do think that the Adelaide Crows, the Crom, are going to finish ninth. I feel like they're heading in a decent direction. You know, they picked up a few good victories or wins last season to show that, you know, they can compete in, you know, they can compete against good teams or reasonable teams. But I just don't feel like they're going to crack the top 8 this season. I feel like they're going to be decently close to doing so. I feel like they're going to be a team that are going to be like mid-table to 8th sort of throughout the season, but just miss out on the top 8. So I've got the Crows finishing 9th this season. Now, this will be very interesting. Ethan, who have you picked, mate? I'm interested to see.
You know what? I've picked St Kilda to go 9th. You know, I feel like they're going in an okay direction. Obviously, I don't expect them to do anything too crazy. But yeah, it'd be good to see anyway from a Saints perspective. They've been in the dumps for the last couple of years, so I'm kind of hoping that there's some excitement on that front.
I mean, finishing 9th wouldn't exactly not be, you know, in the dubs, but yeah, it's hard with the Saints. I feel like they could finish 9th as well, but you just never know what you're going to get out of St Kilda week in, week out. They're such an odd club. One season they could finish in the 8, one season they could finish in the bottom 4. They're that inconsistent. It really depends like what sort of St Kilda side we're going to get this season. They've got good enough players to finish in the top 8, but I feel like 9th isn't a bad spot to put them on a ladder if you're doing ladder predictions, because they're that inconsistent. They could just be a middle of the road club, and finishing 9th, or well, them finishing 9th wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. All right, now let's get into the juicy topic. Here we go. We're going to kick it off with who we think, the 2 teams we think are going to make the 2025 AFL Grand Final. Now, this is such a hard topic to pick because obviously me and Ethan don't know which teams are going to do well, which teams are going to do average, which teams are going to like drop from last season, which teams are going to do good from last season. It's just that unpredictable of a season, this one. But yeah, let's kick it off with Ethan. Who do you think, or which 2 teams do you think are going to make this year's Grand Final?
I reckon it's going to be an absolute banger Grand Final with the Pies versus the Lions in the final.
Oh, we're going again. Revisiting 2023. Why do you think the Pies and the Lions will be the 2 teams to make the granny?
I reckon the Lions are just like too good of a side. I reckon they're going to come into this year with fire and just start like hitting on everyone and just go crazy. And the Pies, they were unlucky last season, losing that game to Sydney and then just falling out. I reckon they come back bigger and stronger this year, and I reckon they make it to the granny.
Well, God, I hope so, because that would be fun. If we get Jesus, if Brisbane make another granny, 3 grannies in a row, that's insane for them. I've got a completely different and surprisingly unbiased routes, right? Now, I said in my ladder predictions video I didn't want to say much about Carlton because I've got Carlton in my grand final, and I think they're going to play the GWS Giants. I feel like it's only a matter of time. Now, I don't know if it's this year. I've got them in this year, but it's only a matter of time before Carlton reach a grand final. They've been blossoming and going for years, but they just haven't taken that final step to make it into a grand final. They were close in 23, where they had like a massive lead against Brisbane, but coughed that up. They got smashed by Brisbane last year. So, assuming they don't play Brisbane in a finals game, they could be a sniff at making the grand final. But yeah, I feel like it's only a matter of time until they make the granny. And I feel like this year could be the year. Yes, they've got injuries. But I just don't know. I feel like Carlton are finally going to make it there. They've had chance after chance. They've been in final series after final series. And GWS, well, I don't think I really need that much of an explanation for them. They're just that good of a club. They've got such a good playing style. Their team is connected in very good ways. They've got a great forward line, a great midfield, and a solid defence as well. Obviously, they've lost Nick Haynes to Carlton, but they're still just a very good side, and I feel like they could make the granny this year. Whether they can win it or not, I don't know. We'll have to see. Ethan, out of your grand final, who is your premiers?
My premiers is Brisbane do the back-to-back.
Fuck, I hate you for saying that.
I just think they're too good, bro. What they got going over there, what Fagan's doing with them, it's just crazy, man. They're cooking up something this season, and I reckon they go back to back.
Yeah, it could be interesting. No data here will be interesting to see how they go this season. But I said it in my ladder predictions video, they are good enough. They've got the team to go back to back this season. So I wouldn't be shocked if they were to go back to back. They're just that good of a club, and like you said, Vagan, he's doing some good things at the Lions at the minute. So yeah, if they go back to back, I wouldn't be shocked. I'm a bit sad that you said that. So out of my grand final, I think the premiers. I'm not wearing any Collingwood stuff for this because I feel like I will get attacked from my own fan base. Here it goes. I think the 2025 premiers. I'm so sorry, everyone who knows I go for Collingwood, but I think the 2025 premiers, on an unbiased call, is going to be Carlton.
You piece of shit.
I'm sorry. I know I'm a Collingwood member and everything, and it's hard to say that, but I have to be unbiased for these videos. And if I'm looking at how Carlton have been the last few years, yes, I know I said it before, they haven't taken that final step, but it's only a matter of time before they do. It's only a matter of time before they reach a grand final and win it. And I just feel like, now is the time that they make the grand final. Normally it's a team that's been sticking around the finals the last few years that finally goes up and wins a grand final, and I feel like Carlton have been doing that. They've been sticking around, and I feel like if they have a decent season, if they've got a healthy squad, yes, they've got a few injuries so far, but if they've got a healthy squad for the majority, like 3/4 of the season, they can go they get a good run, and they get a good run in finals. I reckon they can go all the way and make the grand final and win it. I reckon they could win it, because if it's Carlton versus GWS, my grand final that I've predicted, Jesus, there'll be about, 80,000 Carlton fans to probably 20,000 or 85,000 to 15,000 fans in majority of Carlton. Geez, that would be tough to play. In front of for the Giants, but they are good. They are good in playing against big opposition crowds. They almost beat us in 2023 when it was mainly our crowd. So I don't think they're too scared of massive, home crowds that they've got to play away against, but. Yeah, I just feel like Carlton, they've got a sniff. They've got a sniff at winning the granny if they make it there. But yeah, that is the video done and dusted. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Leave your crazy calls for this season in the comments below. Leave your predictions in the comments below, like Brownlow, Coleman Medal, list goes on from there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for the live stream on Sunday between the Giants and the Pies. Let's go football, Ethan!
Let's go football!
Alright, see you guys.